everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. Want to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe for me. There's a PayPal link down below for anybody who wants to share some love. All is appreciated. And, of course, the StreamYard link is there for anybody who wants to join the panel. We've got John with us again tonight. How you doing, John?
I'm doing good.
Good.
You had a great call last night with our intellectual friend there. It was so nice to have him on.
Yeah, I always like it when Steve comes up and Sotomayor, Somas. Let me look it up. I've got it right here. C.O.W.A.R.D.S. C.O.W.A.R.D.S.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I mean, so it's like, are you going to post that, or can you just spell it out for me, or?
Yeah, let me put it down here. It's C.O.W.A.R.D.S. in the chat.
Okay.
That's his screen name. I think he mentioned his name on the show last night too. Thomas Fredericks or something like that. I'd have to go back and look on the email for that. But anyway, we're gonna go back into that insanity loop. We're gonna jump back in and take a look at things. So we're gonna go back to the distrust and fear mongering of the Karens, Kens, public officials. But in diving into that, we're gonna see some. But we're gonna see both sides of it. We're gonna see the good and the bad as it relates to these officials and the need for auditing. Okay, so let's dive into it. And the first one I've got, instead of having the shorts, I do have a few shorts, but I've got a particular series of videos that I want to look at in relations to a very recent thing about a district attorney that thinks she is above the law with cops. So we're going to take a look at this, and I've got it sped up for convenience of time and all that. But if you need me to slow it down, please let me know.
What is the reason you're so against what I'm doing? I'm doing my job. You say you're a DA?
I am the DA.
Okay.
Okay, let me get to my badge. I am the DA.
I am the DA. I am the DA.
An upstate New York district attorney refused to stop for police when she was caught speeding and instead drove back to her house. Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doyley gave police a hard time over her speeding infraction.
Sorry, I'm the DA. I was going 55 coming home from work.
55 and a 35.
I don't really care.
Okay.
I don't really care.
Can you please come over here? This is on a traffic stop, ma'am.
See the mentality of these people? The law is for thee and not for me. I don't really care. Okay, so her oral speech already has condemned herself. And as we look through these videos, I'm going to make a note on some other aspects that we're going to take a look at in her body language.
Yes, it is. You can call Dennis Kohlmeyer right now.
Okay, I'm telling you why I stopped you. You didn't stop at all. Did you not hear my lights or sirens or anything?
No, I didn't actually. I was on the phone.
Okay, well, you're not supposed to be on the phone.
No, I didn't. I was actually on the phone. Well, that kind of contradicts your excuse earlier that you don't really care. That would imply that you observed it but didn't really care. Now you're saying you didn't even know. Comprende?
While you're driving either.
Yes, I am with the hands-free. Absolutely.
Okay. Why are you so upset at me? I'm doing my job. You just admitted to me that you were going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road.
To leave me alone. It's
Officer Christopher. Can you stay over here, ma'am? This is a traffic. This is illegal.
He won't leave me alone. He's not supposed to leave you alone. You're in direct violation of not just the codes and statutes, but your oath.
Traffic stop. Do you have your ID?
No, it's in my purse. Here.
You have your purse right there.
No, this is my lunch. Would you talk to Dennis? This is ridiculous. No way.
Hello, sir. Good, ma'am. Can you?
Now, who else would be able to hand off a phone and say, "Here, talk to my daddy"? Okay. Using their position and say, "Hey, I'm connected. I've got lines, and you're not supposed to do this to me." And watch what she brazenly says here in a bit about what she's going to do about it. You know, since she's the DA.
Please stay at the back. This is illegal, ma'am. This is a legal traffic stop. Can you please stay over here?
Hey, baby.
Greetings, Russ. How you doing this afternoon?
Doing well. Greetings, everyone. Doing well. Good to be here.
Good. Glad to have you with us.
How you doing, Russ?
Good, good.
Sir, I stopped her for going 55 and a 35 on Phillips
On
Road,
Phillips Road,
and
coming
she
home from
failed
work.
to stop. She drove all the way back home and parked in her garage. And now she's not complying with any of my commands. Ma'am, do not go inside.
See, if that would have been me or one of us common peoples, and we pulled into our garage, they would have come out armed and calling for backup.
Right.
Oh my God.
So don't dismiss the fact that there is prejudice and bias prior. He looked up the plate. He knew who he was following.
Yep. All right. Ma'am, come outside. You can't just go inside. This is a traffic stop. Here's your phone
I
back.
understand the law better than you. Would you just
953. Can you have?
I understand the law better than you. Well, that may be a problem, because I think I know the law better than her. And I think there's a lot of people out there that know the law better than her. And the way I mean this and intend this is that they certainly wouldn't do that kind of shit if they held that office. We have much more honorable people that would be able to better fill those offices. I wish we could find them and help them fill them.
Have a supervisor come to the scene.
No, get out of my fucking house.
I don't know why you're acting like this towards me.
Because
Can you please go to the back of the vehicle?
I'm not going to. I'm home. I was okay. 55.
I don't care if you got home. You were supposed to stop at Phillips Road when I pulled you over. When my lights were
I
initiated.
didn't know you were stopping me. There was lots of other people on the road.
I was right behind you.
Yeah, there were other people on the road too.
Okay, I was directly behind
I'm
you.
not dealing with you right
Can
now.
you please step over here?
I'm not going to.
What is the reason you're so against what I'm doing? I'm doing my job. You say you're a DA?
I am VDA.
Okay.
Okay, let me get you my badge. I am VDA of Monroe.
I am DDA. Let me get my badge. See, that badge is a military badge, folks. You think this woman should be in the military, particularly in this kind of position, giving directives to people in the community, no matter who they are, and saying, well, I don't really care. I understand the law better than you. Really? Narcissistic fucks.
Okay.
Use my language.
Just don't understand the hostility towards me. I'm doing my job.
You're being an asshole.
How am I being an asshole?
I am the VDA of Monroe County.
I understand
Yes,
that, but that doesn't give you a right to go
50.
55 and a 35. And you even admitted to me that you went 50. I understand that, ma'am. I understand that.
You know what? If you give me a private ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it. Okay? Just go ahead and do it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just don't understand the hostility. I understand you're coming home from work.
And half the time I was on the phone with Dennis, telling him, why are you pulling me over?
You're not even supposed to be on the phone to begin with. You should
yes.
know that.
I'm hands-free? Absolutely.
Okay.
You should know the law.
Okay. If it is hands-free, that's great. But at the end of the day, you're going 55 and a 35. That's 20
Okay.
miles over the speed limit.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. You know what I've been dealing with all day?
20 miles over the speed limit. This
And
is
she
ridiculous.
doesn't. And she said she doesn't give a damn.
Yeah,
She was
I
doing
don't really
20.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen to what her excuse is. And at the same time, remember that doing 20 mile an hour over the speed limit in a 35 mile an hour zone, suggesting it's at least partially residential, meaning kids and stuff. I mean, that's posing a greater risk and danger to the community that you're in trust to protect and obligated to. I don't really care.
Certainly not a leader in the community.
Fuck no.
3 murders in the city. And do you think I really care if I was going 20 miles over the speed limit?
I spend my day dealing with 3 murders in the city. In the city. Do you think I really care if I was doing 20 mile an hour? You would think that it would be a constant reminder that there's already been enough death. And I don't care if you're sober or drunk. If you're doing 20 mile and over and you hit somebody, you're not very efficient at your fucking job according to the obligations that you're supposed to hold to yourself, that you're holding to the rest of the community.
Just doing my job. If you pulled over when you saw my lights, which obviously you did.
I thought you were going somewhere else because I thought no one would ever put a black SUV if you ran my plates.
I didn't run your plate. I just called your plate out. And then I'm following you because you're not stopping. So I had to take the air from this.
I wouldn't imagine you would pull over a black SUV. The fuck has a black SUV got to do with it? Well, you ran my plates. No, I didn't run your plates. I pulled your plates. Giving them basic information. That's it. Name. Up-to-date registration, insurance. They already know that information by the time they pull you over.
Batch.
Just please.
They're getting you. They want you to commit to it. In that commitment, that identification says that you're claiming to be a resident performing some kind of contractual business.
Benefactor, you can have the airbag, by the way. Just come outside over here.
No, I'm not going outside.
Okay.
I'm waiting for you to just.
So showing her badge proved that she's not only under contract, but a public servant in public trust with a basic obligation of service. Oops. These are fundamental elements that people need to comprehend for holding offices like this, and it goes to a moral standard and logic. Someday you might get hung. And that's because you're laying your own damn rope.
Well, I'm having a supervisor come because that's what my chief told me to do. Do you have your driver's license?
I just showed you my driver's
You show me your badge.
With EMS 14, you're having a seizure 200 East River Road, apartment 200 on the third
because
floor.
I was going 55 up to and I was
She's
just
part
trying
of. She's a DA.
Yep, I know. And I was just trying to pull into my driveway. I was on the phone with Dennis Cole and I was saying,
And I was just trying to pull into my driveway. No, you were a mile or two away. That's why you had a problem with you not pulling over. And then you pulled into your driveway.
please tell the person who's following me that I'm
Listen,
just almost home.
ma'am, I understand you were going home, but I started my lights back at Phillips Road.
I'm on Phillips Road, yes,
Yes.
you did, and there are other cars.
I was right behind you, directly behind you. At the end,
Go ahead, like,
listen,
if you wanna-
at the end of the day,
Go ahead, if you want to write me a traffic ticket, that's fine.
okay, at the end of the day, I was stopping you for speed. If you
I've
just
had a really
stopped,
bad day. I've been dealing with.
and I get
emergency
it. We have bad
I'm
days
sorry,
also,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry, I'm sorry.
We have bad days also. I'm gonna just add it to the job real quick.
I'm just going to add it to the job real quick. See, their language and lingo tells you what's going on. These people are conducting business affairs. They're all military officers, exactly.
Yep, and revenue capacity too. That's another violation.
Well, no. You got to understand, martial law chiefly affects the police and the collection of public revenue and taxes. The attorney herself is a public officer conducting affairs of public revenue and taxes. She is in that very same thing. These people are bankers. They're banking, and that's what they're supposed to do, is be tellers. They're telling on each other.
Well, okay, I meant like constitutionally.
You can just go and actually add it.
Well, yeah. Constitutionally, that's the requirement to take an oath that gives up their loyalty to their creation. They have to take an oath of loyalty to the Constitution. That's being dual-minded. See, it's the people that know the law without having to read the law are a law unto themselves. So when they propose that you have to know the Constitution, be able to read it and comprehend it, I'm sorry, you've already lost. That's part of the problem with the public education system. It's telling you to remember those kinds of institutions, those constitutions and applications and stuff. And that's not true. That's the manuality versus the spirituality. You have to rise above and remain in your spirit at all times so you can see the manualness of the personality for what it is. It's a third place displacement. So you have to maintain control of the vassal, which is the body of the man, in order to make sure that the cargo, the person within, is protected. That's the spiritual constitution, in my mind, my opinion, my research, my experience, my opinion.
You don't have to use there.
But Keith, don't they also break some of their own internal rules, like say DUI?
Absolutely, all the way up and down the line.
Well, like a DUI, that's not a traffic violation, so that's technically
Well,
their
well,
own
it
violation.
is. Well, it
Oh,
is.
okay.
Traffic, commerce means traffic, trade, or transportation. So they're all synonymous. It means commerce.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the day, I was just making a traffic stop, doing my job, what I was supposed to do.
Well, fine, thank you.
Okay. So now supervisor's on his way, and then we'll go from there.
Supervisor's gonna have it.
Huh?
Who?
Sergeant Johnson. I understand you had it like
I'm making a commercial stop because you are careering too fast. Career means fast. It means to move fast. That's literally what career means.
I get it. We all have
I'm
bad days at
just-
work.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the house. Seriously, this is
No,
ridiculous.
this is a traffic stop, and you out of everyone should know that if there's a legal traffic stop, which I have the right to detain you until this is done.
They just write me the fucking ticket. I really don't care.
Just write me the fucking ticket. I really don't care.
Well, then just hang out at the back of the car.
Because I'm the one that's gonna prosecute myself.
I-
You know what I'll do with the ticket?
I'm the one that's going to prosecute myself. You know what I'm going to do with the ticket? Really? You're going to prosecute yourself. Does that sound familiar, guys? Yeah, we policed ourselves and we find ourselves to be innocent. We didn't do anything wrong. That's the mentality of these people up and down the chain. Not all of them, of course, but the ones like this, and it's obvious. And they need to be removed. Tiffany Henyer, I don't understand how she was in that position for 3 fucking years. Despite her criminal past and the criminals that she hung around with and hired, and yeah, the criminal activities that remained and were obvious, and she kept denying.
I often wonder how these people get into public office.
Well, yeah, it's the cognitive dissonance of the comfort and convenience of wanting that popularity contest. And in that, you've been divided for so long over so many different things. You have a great portion of the population that has a low self-esteem, so they're looking for someone to follow. And they have them in all kinds of forms: political forms, religious forms, musical forms, comedic forms, entertainment forms, sporting forums.
But just, I mean, you know, just as me as an outsider looking in, the public service, the public trust doesn't appear to be too trustworthy.
Well, yeah, you're
All
not
the way
supposed to put.
around, I mean,
Yeah, and you're not supposed to put your trust in another man, and that's what this voting system does. You put your trust in another man that he'll do what you want him to do because you're giving up that responsibility for the comfort and convenience that you're supposed to get in return. That's a lack of responsibility. And that's a willing lack. Yep, absolutely, Somas. Come on up. The link's down there, brother. I always appreciate you. So in the meantime, we're going to get back to this video, though, because this is narcissism at its height and psychopathy. This lady is a total psychopath. He should never have made it to this position. I don't know how.
Okay, just come out here for me and
I'm
just stand.
not walking out there. I'm not. Hey, baby, right?
Corey, you just want to stand up here.
We've caught her in several lies already, and she does nothing but continue it.
Yeah, as long as it's added to the job. Start on his way.
Because you said 10-4.
Okay.
Oh, I was sitting there. He turned around. I didn't know if it was me. I wasn't sure because there were cars going back and forth. Then I got to turning into the field pass, so I'm like, I'm just going back home. That's what I did. So I did this story. And I got on the phone with Dennis. I don't know. Even before I turned in and said, you know, it's me that they're stopping. Just tell them it's me. So I don't know. That's weird.
It's me you're stopping. Just tell them it's me. Like that's, you know, an automatic. Again, like she said, though, guess who's prosecuting it? Guess what I'm going to do? Watch what happens.
Know what, there are other cars in full.
942.
I'm just going to pull in.
I would advise against that. I mean, you're supposed to pull off to the side of the road if somebody with their emergency lights is coming behind you anyways.
Yeah, I just
Corey, it's fine. Just we're having supervisor come, and then we'll go from there.
oh, come
Okay?
on. Just,
This is what my chief wants. That's at the end of the day. You called him. I spoke to him on your phone, and this is what he
Yeah,
wants.
I'm not going again, seriously.
Yeah, this is what he wants.
Didn't find any of them. Seriously?
So she made communication with the guy and initiated consensual communication. And in that, you know, he's concerned for his own job as well here, I imagine. You know, he's chief of police. So he's, you know, now he's in it. He's got to double check for his own ass. See, some of these people at the higher ranks do know that, hey, she might try to throw me under the bus. See, when you understand the structure of government, it's the sheriff that is elected. It's the DA that's elected. But the deputies, they're chosen by the sheriff through the selection of the attorney. The attorney makes a list of people that are viable, and then the sheriff can select from that list. See, the authority in that situation always sits in the district attorney. It's like the mayor. He's the executive, but he doesn't have any authority. That goes to the county or the city attorney. And then it's the clerk that makes the issues that are thereby entered for orders.
And most
That's-
warrants are false, Keith, aren't they? Because only a DA can issue those through the post office. Isn't that true? Or
Well, that's the problem. They're supposed to issue it through the Postal Service, which is the clerk at the federal level. So they're dismissing the diplomatic channels of notice of 22 CFR 93.1 as a matter of notice of suit or default. They're supposed to give that notice to the United States, and that's through the Postal Service. They're the registered agent for the administrative offices of the United States.
You guys can go. You guys go. I'll wait here wait for Sarge or LT. Or LT. Sounds like LT's coming now.
All I think is I was going 20 miles an hour over the speed limit on Phillips. I didn't pull over. I just figured I'd drive to my driveway instead.
Hey guys, I lost my video thing here again. I'm going to pop out and come right back. Hang on just a few seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Pull her back up.
You should run quick. It's a big black SUV. It's a big black SUV. And now I've got my flag.
She's talking about it's a big black SUV. Like they have some kind of standing order that you don't pull over big black SUVs. Where does this shit come from? I don't understand that. Why does she think that? I've never thought about that before. Why would you just, oh, it's a big black SUV, don't pull those over?
Why, maybe I might have an explanation for that, maybe. I had a buddy up in, well, backstabbing buddy, obviously, up in Bucks County up there, and he was a big union guy. And he used to talk all big and how much power and shit he had. And he said, well, you know, when they know it's trouble when the Tahoes roll in, because a lot of public officials drive around in those black Tahoes.
Yeah, but that wouldn't preclude you. I could go out and get a black Tahoe and expect
Right.
not to be pulled over.
Right.
That's kind of insane and idiotic thinking. That's why I say I don't understand where they get that kind of shit.
Well, she's already just told on herself about 15 different times so far.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Break it down as she's consistent, compulsive liar. That's psychopathy. And on top of that, I understand the law better than you do. That's narcissism.
She's going 55 and 35 on Phillips. She didn't stop at all. She decided to drive home, called the chief, and this is where we're at. She's admitted multiple times to me. So I attempted to stop her on Phillips Road, going 55 and a 35. Didn't see the plate. I was just keeping an eye on the vehicle because she wasn't stopping. Drove all the way here, pulled into her garage, got out, was just being aggressive towards me for no reason. I was being respectful. telling her it's a legal traffic stop. Come to the back of the vehicle, no. And she called chief, and I requested supervisor. And now she wanted to go inside. Told her no, you can't go inside, and this is where we're at. So.
Someone said I'm gonna official also.
I gave it back to her. It's attached to the job and everything. So.
I did my stuff in Costa. I was working down the street. I figured I would just stop in my truck. So I figured I thought it would be easier.
I thought it was easier. No, that's one of the premises of making sure people stop and you don't end up in a chase. When you don't stop, it makes it harder. That's one of the premises of stopping people for violations, is to make things easy. Of course, again, if she did understand the law better, I again profess that I think I understand the law better, because if I was a DA like that, I'd just go ahead and have it dismissed because he proclaimed an emergency, which is a felony versus a speeding ticket. Of course, at the same time, they're both breaking their oath of office then.
I'm still rolling, so.
Yeah, you I mean, it's your traffic stop. I'm not gonna say that anyway. Sure.
Wait till LT's done talking.
17, I can start the unknown. 717, sorry, was I get that open line on a cell phone with people that were yelling to one another in the tennis court area?
Yeah, got out of the vehicle.
Oh, and one of the comments, if you slow this down, when you rewatch it, you can just change the speed and actually slow it down so you can hear it at regular speed. But one of the comments to dispatch was to go air. You have air, and that's the air jurisdiction. And what he meant was you could open air, and that was open the radio communication channels back and forth so he could hear you and you could hear him. Okay, and be broadcast. Then he says you can go background air or something like that, and that means to go ahead and shut off the public side, but you're still air. You're still getting background communications back and forth. It's just not being aired. It's being recorded. This is in reference to the FCC, and everything is already recorded.
Vehicle, everything. So, I mean.
Everything that's transmitted and goes out is automatically now going into some kind of recording system. So it's automatically recorded.
I mean, she knew exactly that she was going 55 in a 20 or 35. She even called the chief. So it's like,
We're anesthesiologists, surgeons, emergency medicine physicians.
That's the air jurisdiction, which is radio frequencies, wave frequency generation, and things like that, harmonic resonances, all those crystalline salts in your bodies that carry those waves. You got your ears and your eyes and your pineal gland, all three have solid crystals in them, and they vibrate and cause certain vibrations throughout your body. The healthier you keep those things in the crystalline forms, the rest of your body salts help your cells stay healthy. Just a note.
Like, I don't care just writing her the speeding ticket and being done with it, but.
Not medical advice or anything, just my firsthand experience from what I've researched and observed in my own cell salts and mineral supplements and dietary changes as it relates to remedying certain symptoms.
Technically, it's arrestable offense if she didn't stop.
I'll be stepping out at 293 Taft Ave on this. Check for my missing person.
What's
So you also make contact over the phone next time call.
what's the deal? I mean, it's your stop. I'm not gonna interfere with that. Yeah. I mean, I get that she came home. I mean, obviously, if I just trying to like she came home, she filled the stop. I mean, it's a arrestable offense. I'm not trying to arrest the DA of the county, but also I don't want to not do my job and not at least write her something. So I think
So he's forced into a position where he's got a different levels of the measures he can take in here. He's saying it's an arrestable offense, but he doesn't want to arrest her, but he can't not do anything about it. So he's talking about his discretion.
I'm not, like I said, I'll at least write her the freaking 155 and the 20. At the end of the day, I got discretion whether or not. No, I get it. So.
Yep, he's got discretion. At the end of the day, he's got discretion.
All right, man. So I'm issuing you speed in zone 55 and 35.
I'll take care of it since I'll be prosecuting myself.
Okay. At the end of the day,
I'll take care of this because I'll be prosecuting myself. See the arrogance of this bitch? But look at her fold her arms. She's defensive. She's in fear. Look at her eyes. Look at her mouth, pursing her lips inward.
see my lights and sirens behind you, and obviously they're going off. Just pull over. We can have a conversation and be on our way. I kept my eye on your vehicle. I'm not going to check my computer to see what plate it is if a vehicle is not stopping for me. I want to keep my eyes on that vehicle for my safety, so I'm not going at the end of the day. Okay? I'm sorry to go to a bad day, and I'm sorry it went this way, but I do respect what you do. Have a good day, man.
But I would say, you're supposed to call them on this.
I can hear you completely unreadable.
You're the South Central Joe.
So, what do you think, guys? Hello?
Typical tyrant.
Absolutely. I mean, these are the kind of people that we have to stop putting in office to begin with. But once we get them there, we should be able to discern whether they're doing what's right for the people or not. And we're not even paying attention. This is the importance of needing auditors, people that are willing to provide the oversight so that this shit stops. And it's not just us, we the people, as those that are auditing, but people that are internal and have a set of ethics according to the law, but still maintain a spiritual principle of intuitive morals of right and wrong. So let's take a look at the next one. This is City Council calls for investigation of District Attorney Sandra Dooley. That's her name, Sandra Dooley. Now, this was just 3 days ago. The other one was just 4 days ago. So these are recent events. So let's take a look and see what they say here.
New tonight, members of Rochester City Council are unanimously calling on the Attorney General's office to investigate matters involving Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Dooley. Now, this comes following officer-worn body camera footage from the town of Webster Police Department showing Dooley repeatedly invoking her position as DA and refusing to follow orders. Gio Battaglia joins us in studio with greater details and reaction from one City Council member. Gio.
Isabel, the letter specifically requests the Attorney General's office to investigate if her actions in the body camera footage violates any public official standards and whether her actions, quote, reflect the fair administration of justice of Monroe County, end quote. Now, all 9 members of Rochester City Council signed the letter referring to a situation that took place Monday evening.
All 9 members signed it. That's a powerful statement that the City Council may be on the side of morals and justice. But let it not be misunderstood that it may have just been a play to throw somebody under the bus, being a majority in a democracy. Be careful of who you're replacing. I assure you, there may be somebody else at the helm guiding those replacements. These are people known as puppets.
Well, see,
And
democracy, one of the key things is that it means representation. That's a very bad word.
Yeah, representation. I was pre-sent. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. It's one of my favorites.
Officer says he was trying to pull over District Attorney Dorley on Phillips Road. The officer claims Dorley did not pull over, kept driving, and didn't stop until she pulled into her own garage. She then immediately got on the phone with the Webster police chief and argued with the officer in front of her. I sat down with Rochester City Council member Mary Lupian today, who says there are council members who feel an investigation wouldn't go far enough. She says the video already shows enough detail and they would welcome a resignation.
And one of the things I want to point out here is that you'll also notice if you look back and review that other video, she said that she was on the phone when she was driving down the road, and that's why she didn't see the lights or siren. And while she was on the phone, she was on the phone to the very guy that she was supposedly calling right back. So when did she get off? When she saw the lights and sirens? Again, just showing her implicit nature of lying.
I would like to see an investigation into what actually did happen with the ticket. You know, if she followed through on her threat to not prosecute it. And it makes me curious to the cases that she's decided where her head was at. You know,
to the cases that she has decided, if she's had this kind of mentality, and there have been cases against people that she knows, and she had judged them inappropriately and put them back out there to continuously repeat that same kind of behavior against people, and continue, how deep does it go? See, these people are covering each other's backs. Like I said, they're puppets and they cover each other. So it may not necessarily just be the DA, but the people putting DA into position.
I think it's and this is obviously just my opinion, but I think all of them involved in that SS-16 to the local government are somehow tied.
Yeah, I'll agree. I just don't know how, and I really don't care if I know a way to avoid it.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other people that she felt were above the law enforcement, for example?
Now, we have reached out to the Attorney General's office following the letter from City Council. And as of yesterday, District Attorney Dorley is sticking by a statement released on Thursday where she says, quote, "I acknowledge that I was speeding and I accepted the ticket. By 1 p.m. the following day, I pled guilty and sent the ticket to the Webster Town Court because I believe in accepting responsibility for my actions and had no intention of using my position to receive a benefit."
It was so...
So,
well, pre-recorded.
This next one, I think is the one where, and I may not have been paying attention close enough there, but her body language is one of the things I want to point out. I think it was in this video. I may have missed it in the last one. I'm not sure. But this one here is going to go on and tell about the community members along with the city council members. So we're going to get a little bit more. So it's a matter of a more objective viewpoint coming in now.
Apology from embattled Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Dorley following her controversial encounter with Webster Police, who says she failed to pull over when caught speeding.
Yeah, and this is the one. This is where she's going to make an apology, but her body language says otherwise. She is a full-blown narcissist. She believes she can get away with it, despite all the problems with everybody else's objective view, and now she's going to find out, just like Tiffany Henyard. They're hanging themselves. They're laying their own ropes, and they will hang themselves and get others caught up in it. It's endemic throughout the entire government. These people, most of these people, again, not all of them, but most of these people have an ego and a narcissistic psychopathy to them. It's a matter of a control element that they thrive on. They think they have control over people, and they manipulate them and get better at it. That's their job in life, is manipulation.
And I think that's why some of them never get fired or anything, because Hey, listen, they're in bed with each other. They've turned a blind eye to each other, and she's probably on the phone with old Dennis. Hey, if I go down, you're going down, motherfucker. Get
Well,
this
yeah,
guy off me. Why is he pulling me over?
Yeah, it's Hitler's willing executioners. Like I said, it's endemic throughout the government.
And disgusting is what it is.
Last Monday, I failed you and the standards that I hold myself to. And for that,
See that? I failed you.
and the standards that I hold myself to. And for that,
See how she looks down to her left and closes her eyes?
I am so sorry.
That's a lie. The look on her face is an appeal to pity to overcome the lie that you just observed in physical presence. People that lie can't face you when they're lying. That's an automatic twitch that most people have. Some people can overcome it. They train themselves to overcome certain body traits that give tells. It's a big gamble. Everything's a big gamble. Learn the body language. She was standing there earlier with her arm. She's very defensive in that motion. Here she's pleading to the public's care and concern about somebody that is repentant. She just lied to you. That's the psychopathy. She lied throughout the entire video and then stood her ground, and now she's making an appeal after the community's come out. Don't think so. This lady's done.
Sandra Dorley recording this message saying she's sorry for what happened last Monday when this encounter with police went down at her home.
So why didn't you just stop like you're supposed
Because
to?
I didn't feel like stopping on Phillips Road.
That's not your choice.
Because it didn't feel like stopping on Phillips Road at 5:30. I don't know any judge that would accept that as an excuse, unless you're the DA.
Choice. You know that.
Well, I made it my choice.
You should know better.
Well, I made it my choice. Like she just goes ahead and makes all kinds of law because she understands the law better than you, right? Right? She can just make laws.
That's not a traffic ticket. That's an arrestable offense, Sandra.
It's not a traffic ticket. It's an arrestable offense. Excuse me, if you're issuing a traffic citation, it is not an arrestable offense. See, they're conflating those kind of elements. If somebody doesn't stop, you have to still have a probable cause for stopping them, not just a civil commercial intent. Traffic citation, commerce, means, traffic, transportation, and trade.
police already have a tough job, and that day I made this officer's job harder. I've been humbled by my own stupidity.
I've been humbled by my own stupidity. But watch which way she shakes her head.
I'm fully to blame. Harder. I've been humbled by my own stupidity, and I'm fully to blame.
She's denying her blame. She shook her head no. That's a denial of her blame.
We have team coverage tonight. There have been calls for Dorley's resignation. She says that she is not stepping down. The DA's pre-recorded apology surfaced at 6 this morning.
Yes, New York.
Has prompted discussions about the district attorney's next steps and questions about her future. 13 Wham's Jackie Napier begins our team coverage, breaking down the reactions and proposed course of action from both Democratic and Republican leaders. Jackie, what have you learned?
Good evening, Stephen. In her video statement, Sandra Dorley noted that if one of her assistant district attorneys had behaved as she did, they would have faced disciplinary action. Now, the Monroe County District Attorney says she's imposing discipline on herself.
In a statement released Monday morning, District Attorney Sandra Dorley expressed commitment to full transparency and said she is taking steps to hold herself accountable.
I'm referring the entire matter to a district attorney from another county for review and will fully cooperate with that investigation. I'm going to self-report this incident to the grievance committee, and I will cooperate with their investigation. I will take ethics training to remind myself that professionalism matters.
The apology coming 1 week after.
I think they probably already got the message, don't you think? I'm sure people were up in arms and calling. I mean, particularly the city council, that 9 members all voted saying, yeah, we got to do something about this.
Refusing to pull over for a speeding ticket and then arguing with a Webster police officer who followed her home to question her actions. The incident caught on body camera video.
I think we all watched the video on Friday afternoon with horror, just cringeworthy in terms of seeing how the reaction was between the district attorney and the police officer, and none of us found that to be acceptable.
Governor Kathy Hochul says the matter has been referred to the Commission on Prosecutorial Conduct, which has
That's the governor crying out loud.
the authority to review and investigate prosecutors' conduct. State Senator Jeremy Cooney says he supports a bipartisan, fact-based investigation.
We can be disappointed, we can be angry, we can be frustrated, but right now she deserves due process just like any other member of Monroe County. This is really about restoring trust across Monroe County and across New York State.
Patrick.
And I'll agree with that, because even when you're prosecuting one of your own, it's imperative to show that you're able to treat each other with the same measures of a procedure that is in fact due. You know, still maintaining those moral ethics that you're judging that other member for violating. That's imperative.
Riley, the Monroe County Republican chairman, says the party continues to fully stand behind Dorley. In a statement, he said in part, quote, "Nobody is perfect and everyone has a bad day. District Attorney Dorley has atoned."
But everyone has a bad day. When it comes to an extent like this, it's like the one said, you have to wonder how many cases she's been on that completely violated other people's rights. And I'm going to say it's a very large number, because I already know the facts on the ledgering side about how they do the conversion. So whether it's her or her cohorts, they all do it together.
Should not and will not be going anywhere. The Commission on Prosecutorial Conduct will prepare a report detailing its findings and recommendations upon completing its investigation. The Onondaga County District Attorney will be reviewing Dorley's conduct, according to the Monroe County DA's office. Stephen.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Reaction to Dorley's controversy is running high. 13 Wins Natalie Calzatoni attended a protest today with some community members demanding Dorley be held accountable for her actions. Natalie.
Stephen, just a few hours after Sandra Dorley released a video apologizing for her actions, a group of community members demonstrated outside of her downtown office, with some asking that she be fired, while others offered Dorley their support.
Hey, Dorley! Hey, Dorley! Madam, we don't play. Madam, we don't play. Either you can resign, or you can get fired today.
A group protesting outside Sandra Dorley's office Monday morning, 1 week after the district attorney's tense interaction with a Webster police officer.
I am the DDA of Monroe County. I understand that, but that doesn't give you a right to go 55 and a 35. And you even admitted to me that you went 50. I understand that, man. I understand that.
You know what?
I don't care flipping her badge. I don't care flipping her badge. Hands out, palms up, waving them. Very defensive.
If you give me a traffic ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it.
Demonstrators, including State Assemblyman Damon Meeks, demanding accountability.
Statement of assurance to calm herself down. I'm the prosecutor, or I'm the DA. I'm the one prosecuting. What do you think I'm going to do with it?
Our top prosecutor has a responsibility to set an example for our community.
Meeks called her actions a blatant.
Has a obligation, as a priority, to set that example. And that's why I say, if you're going to hold one another to that moral example, you have to maintain that moral example yourself.
An abuse of power, and hopes there is a full investigation of her actions.
She's prosecuted an individual. She's done her job, right? But I often say that a measure of an individual is what they do outside the job. I know firsthand, like, no one can tell me that if she was an African American, she would be able to tell you the story the next day.
And I don't disclude that the measure of person doesn't involve activities in their job either. I think sometimes that's an even greater aspect of a man's measure in this bitch-ass slavery system, that you would have people in that bitch-ass slavery system that are still able to carry that spirituality and make some kind of difference in that aspect, even in that slave system. And that's why I say we need those kind of people. We need the people that can profess their spirituality in that slave system and do so in a manner that it actually has a good effect and can be seen and isn't dangerous, and nobody sees it as being dangerous, but that it's a greater effect for everybody, and it tends to bring everybody into an agreement.
Andy Semino was also at the protest, but in support of Dorley. He says he understands why others are. Others are upset about her actions, but believes everyone deserves a second chance.
I think that we should step back and recap 33 years of service before we make a decision on one bad day, one bad decision.
33 years. How does somebody attain that kind of a position for 33 years and end up like this? It had to start with that. It had to start with the concept that she could be in that office and attain all this power. That's the seeking of power and control. And particularly in a woman who is supposed to be feminine and takes on an alpha, major alpha control issue like that is definitely not good for society. And again, that's just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
right now,
and that doily
should
noted.
we just, does it rise to this level? Absolutely not. I mean, come on.
Lynn Mazurkowicz, wife of fallen RPD officer Anthony Mazurkowicz, posted on Facebook that she is one person you will not see rejoicing in Dorley's downfall. She says, quote, judge her not for 30 minutes of her life, but all the good she has done.
It was a bad day, a bad mistake. She understands it. She apologized. I didn't see her apology video, but I think it's a bit late.
We've reached out to the website.
Yeah, a bit late. Again, if you've got 33 years in that position, you would think that obversely to just being so narcissistic to sit there and say, I just don't care. I don't really care. I'm the DA. Who do you think is prosecuting? What do you think I'm going to do with it? Is far beyond the ethical staircase that people in these positions are supposed to climb instead of evade so they can tear everybody else down and build their life and wealth off of their back and sweat equity. This is just narcissism at its greatest. There's no way that this woman went through 33 years and built her career on ethics and morals. No fucking way. Not 1 inch of it.
Police chief, but have not heard back. Dorley's apology video that was released this morning can be found on 13wham.com. Stephen?
Natalie, thank you very much. Be sure to stay with 13wham for any news.
So what do you think, guys?
Well, I think that in one sense, Keith, the cops may think they're doing the right thing by keeping the law local. I mean, most laws are local. Like when you get a job, I mean, that's your law, right? The building codes, etc. But what they're doing is they're just overextending, you know, their jurisdiction. I mean, the laws can't be that uniform for all humans. Humans don't even have those laws. This is just terrible.
Yeah, it's called the home rule for long arm statutes.
It's a statutory laws, isn't it?
Well, it's to provide at arm's length contracts, statutes.
Yeah. Because I know when I was looking at the sheriff's manual or whatever, sheriff's association, it's constitutional / statutory.
Yep. That's why they call them long arm statutes.
Yeah.
So the next one I got, like I said, we need people on the inside that know what's going on and have a good presentation about it. So I ran across this video, and this is just fucking great. It's from Here's the Deal. Brian, what's his name? And I think we should pay attention to this real quick. This is awesome, the way this guy speaks about it.
Brian, Impact Blogs.
Damn it. Yeah. So let's take a look here.
Your policy does not supersede the Constitution. This is North Bergen, New Jersey Police Captain George Raposo.
Police Captain George Raposo. And he's telling the people in the community, your policies do not supersede the Constitution. So this guy's working at it from inside, from the constitutional standpoint, and helping them understand that Congress shall make rules for the government, and that those policies under the rules of government do not supersede the rules of government. They are subject to them.
He's training a group of city employees on the need for First Amendment auditors and the government workers' obligation to honor the American rights of those auditors.
So this is a guy that understands not only the Constitution, but that First Amendment right, freedom of association, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom to gather and peacefully assemble, freedom to petition the government for redress of grievance. I believe he understands both the concept of being able to observe and express, and it's not merely an individual right, but that it's the right of a greater group of their right to know. When the government refuses to be transparent, or when their transparency shows their corruption, it is time to throw off that despotic government. Before we do that, we have to have auditors that can explain that and express it through their observances. It's the only way it's going to happen. So all these Karens and Kens out there professing that we're violating their privacy. No, we're not. You have the onus of probandi in public to provide your own privacy. We're fucking math, for crying out loud. See how that works out for you.
We need these auditors. We need the people to keep us in check. We need the people that come and test us. So think of the auditors like that. They're testing you to make sure that you're honoring people's rights, honoring the First Amendment. You may have a policy or whatever it is, but your policy does not supersede the Constitution. The auditor could be anyone, but it's someone that's making sure they're keeping their government employees accountable. That's all they're doing. So, for example, I'm an auditor in North Bergen, and I care about where my tax-paying money is going.
And this is how we hold them accountable. Like I said, the true benefit is knowledge. So we're not supposed to be going out enforcing any kind of codes, laws, or not anything like that, but rather educationally showing them what those codes and stuff actually mean and how they operate, because that's the actual issue. They become Hitler's willing executioners because they're just doing their job and they don't really know what those policy codes, statutes, rules, and regulations all mean or how they play with each other.
I go to my local government and I make sure that they're honoring all the principles of the Constitution.
That means that you have to know those principles of the Constitution. Again, the true benefit is knowledge, and in that benefit, you get the experience that builds up wisdom, so you can go forth with that wisdom and teach it to these other people that need it. You're not going in, again, to enforce the law, but to help save their job. If you're just doing your job, let me show you how to keep that job by understanding the moral principles. Otherwise, you might lose it real quick. What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, morals are first. I mean, if you're stripping everything away from the kids to have, if kids don't have morals, we're not going to have them as adults.
Yep, training up a child in the right way, and he won't waver. And that's training them up in equity to show them how to bring equity. You've got to bring, if you want knowledge and wisdom, you've got to bring knowledge and wisdom. This is called investing in your talents, the Lord's money. And that's the knowledge of what you know and expressing it. Again, to feed a man for a fish, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. But to express that is to extend the credence of the Lord's money. Coin your words or purse your lips. The next one, again, goes to that identification and everything.
No, I don't need any help with anything, Trooper.
Well, what are you out here doing?
Oh, I'm just taking a walk around. That's all.
And why are you recording?
Aren't you recording?
Yeah, but I have to.
I
because
choose to.
I'm interacting with the public, so I have to be recording.
And I choose to because I'm interacting with a law enforcement officer.
But you've been recording that we've been having reports of you out here for a while. I've been recording.
Reports of someone recording.
Being suspicious, walking around.
Okay. They record everywhere they go, pretty much. All those public buildings have cameras in them, pretty much. Everything's being recorded, pretty much already. But an individual that wants to go around and maintain his own private journal, there's something suspicious about that. Because everybody's been indoctrinated into believing that they have to make everything public. And that is violating your very own onus probandi of providing that privacy. Just because you're out in public doesn't mean you're not private, or that you're not doing something private or creating something for your privacy. Not all the times are people out there videoing live. Sometimes they're doing private journals, strictly private. But yet you can still do a private journal and show everything in the public, because that's what your private journal is about. It's the content of your journey, your soul journer.
Because this is a
The suspicious thing to me is that people would question that.
building with important people and things in here.
So are you important because you have a uniform
No, I'm
on?
saying not me.
Well, who's important that's inside of this building?
See, this is a public official that doesn't understand their obligation to the obligee, and somehow comes out and tells this obligee that somehow there's other people inside that they're conducting business with that are more important. So if they're conducting business, contracting with other contractors, they too are presumed to be in public service of public trust, and therefore are of equal station as the obligated party to the obligee. Again, not very important, evidently. A trust shall not fail for want of trustee.
Crowd of people in there.
Yeah, who's important?
Civilians.
Civilians. See, they don't understand the expressions of trust and how to use the expression, the words that clarify those expressions of trust. Aren't you the obligated party to make sure that in your public service under public trust, with its basic obligation of public service to the benefactor as a third party? It's pretty simple language once you learn it, folks.
So
it wouldn't be the
They are coming here asking why there's
This
a
is
man
the
out here
Connecticut State.
recording.
This is the Connecticut State Police headquarters, correct?
And they're asking why you're recording. We have civilians coming up to me asking why a man is recording. They feel uncomfortable.
So,
Damn. It's close to
yeah,
me.
they're gonna let the building, the cameras in the building and the parking lot and all throughout the community take videos and snapshots of them. Patrol cars wandering around with the new snapshot of your license plates, all kinds of stuff like that. But if a man is doing it, oh no, what? It just doesn't make sense. What were you saying, John? My apologies.
No, that was from Connecticut. This scene there.
So the next one I got is another couple for a measure of insanity as to the lengths that these people will go to try to get some kind of commercial interactions through these traffic citations.
You're going 3 miles under the speed limit. You can drive.
55 is the speed limit.
53. My camera.
Is that illegal?
You were going 53.
Is that illegal?
Yes, it is.
Notice this guy's in a hoodie. Even got the little ties coming down, some kind of hoodie or something, right?
It's because you're driving under the speed limit. You're not doing the speed limit. Do me a
Speed?
favor, just do the speed limit, okay?
Speed
Thank you.
limit. What's your name and badge number?
Since I got you stopped here, you're driving 65 and the speed limit is 7. I'm just wondering what's wrong. I mean,
So one guy's literally doing 2 mile an hour under the speed limit, and I've had this occurrence the opposite way. I was doing 56 in a 55 and they pulled me over, 57 in a 55 and they pulled me over. And now we find out that if you're doing 53 in a 55, they're going to pull you over. If you're doing 65 in a 70, they'll pull you over. So the speed limit means that you can't go above or below the speed limit of 55. You can't go above or below the speed limit of 70. Is that the exact limitation that they're taking? This is insane, people. And these people are people that profess to know the law.
okay?
Traveling 5 miles below the speed limit.
Yes, sir. I'm just checking on you. That's all I'm doing, okay?
Yes, sir.
You good?
I'm great. You?
I'm doing better than I deserve, This here's a warning, okay? All right?
Okay, what was the warning for?
All right. Have a good day, all
What
right?
was the warning for, sir? I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, what was the warning for? I'd like to see that statute. See, they don't have one of those on the books. He has to try to create one.
What the warning is for? It's for traveling under the speed limit, okay?
Traveling under the speed limit, okay? Everybody look in your state statutes and see if you can find a traffic violation for traveling under the speed limit. And let me know if it doesn't say like something like at least 15 or 20 mile an hour under the speed limit, or make a limit on a 45 or a 70 mile an hour speed limit highway, something like 45 or something like that, because that kind of situation, it would be hazardous. So they do make some kind of limitation, but it's certainly not 2 or 5 mile an hour under the speed limit. So the next one I got is
fascinating and alarming. The whole.
It is not medical advice. It is just a review of a short clip, and it comes from a SEAL Team 7 canine handler as regards to Navy certain jabs. And yeah, let's take a look at it. We're going to hear something from him that's going to talk about a religious exception or religious exemption.
Whole COVID experience had the impact that it had on our military.
Well, it got me out.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't take it.
No,
I refused it, and my EOS lined up. I had to put a religious waiver in, like most guys.
Religious waiver. Religious waiver. See, the religious waiver is saying that there's something that came before, something greater, and I'm going to waive off this benefit because it would subvert a greater benefit that I have through our Creator. This is that constitution of loyalty to the oath, or the oath of loyalty to the Constitution. They give up the loyalty in the beginning was the Word was God, Word was God, where He wrote His word of love on your heart with His index finger of His right hand before He formed you in the belly.
Fascinating and alarming. The whole COVID experience had the impact that it had on our military.
Well, it got me out.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't take it.
No,
I refused it, and my EOS lined up. I had to put a religious waiver in, like most guys, kick the can down the road long enough until it was my time to go. And I literally made the choice. I think I got out in like 61 days.
Wow.
Real quick, guys, 61 days. This dude got out of the system. Religious waiver. 61 days. Boom. Huh? See where we're going? They don't want nothing to do with people that claim religious waivers. Okay, you're no longer part of the experiment.
No plan, no job, no nothing. The guys that were saying, hey, this doesn't feel right, I don't think I agree with this. I mean, they got
railroaded.
Oh, man. I know on the West Coast, they were pretty powerful movement over there. And on the East Coast, they just corralled these dudes in an office and said, check in every day. Like it was... You're blackballed, man. Like it was
really
bad. Yeah, they wanted you under MA supervision
for not getting the shot.
Guys were fighting for their lives, man.
Dude, what?
Fighting for their lives, dude. It was crazy.
Dude, that's embarrassing.
It's very embarrassing. My wife and I were holding tight, saying, "Hey, well, if we feel this way, then we're being told it's time to leave."
Yeah, fascinating.
Absolutely. And here I want to remember or remind you to. Of course, never believe me. Don't believe the neighbor. Don't believe the government. Don't believe your mother, for crying out loud. Do your research so you know. And I've mentioned the 5 Mile Act before. The 5 Mile Act is a thing for incorporated townships that boot people out that won't comply with their corporate codes. 5 Mile Act. Look it up. It's still, in essence, the concept here. If you're not going to comply with societal living, then get the fuck out of the society. So the next one is a video I did that I have not published. So we're going to do it today, and it's in regards to my own interest in, like I said, the auditing. And my part in it isn't going to be to try to prosecute anybody or anything, but to simply make a journal as a matter and form of a mediation between the employees and other auditors, so that we can become more effective in expressing and being very transparent, both about ourselves and helping the transparency correlate between all parties. That means those principles, the city employees, county employees, state employees, federal employees, they all have to start comprehending the true capacity of the public service as a matter of public trust and their basic obligation to the obligee, we the people, the third party benefactor. So this is just a video on my intent as I go into auditing, and guess I don't need that. And again, please stop me and let me know if you think there's anything from your perspective or viewpoint that could help me out as far as my intent on going forward with this.
Looks like the short you did 2 weeks ago, Pete, or 3 weeks. Remember that one you had that you were wearing the same shirt?
Yeah, it was, I think, yeah. But what channel was it on? Was it on El Perro? Maybe it was. But I want to review this and make sure that everybody understands. So even if I did a restatement of what my intent here is in doing this audit, is not, again, to be compulsory or to compel anybody under any kind of accusations, but merely to go forth through that principle of feeding a man a fish, and you give him, you feed him for a day. But if you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. But the true principle, again, is the parable of the talents and being able to extend the Lord's money. That's the investment. You're not supposed to bury that talent. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech. And again, the greater right of a greater majority of people to know.
Okay, greetings, everybody. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, or living life, or loving life. Coming at you tonight with a live from my phone. Some of you may have heard I'm going to get into the auditing thing in a sense. I'm not particularly a First Amendment auditor, nor am I against the government. I want to pay.
Where at, Rebecca? I didn't feel anything here.
Play a part of in between to help the auditors learn how the government actually runs, as well as help the government discern what we're actually trying to affect within these communities, and that is the rightness of the words that we're using. I think both the auditors and the government, as it relates to the public education system, which I speak on quite a bit, is a little off. I think we have a lot of people that don't know how to communicate, and therefore I'm hoping I can be an intermediary in that. Knowing my past record and the way it looks, and of course all of the supposed violent actions that I've been through in my life, as that record portrays, certainly isn't a correct record. And so that's part of my part in it, as correcting my records and how it relates to me and the rest of the community. Like I said at the council meeting, I'm not a resident and I'm not a United States citizen, as those terms are defined. And I think that's the main delusion that most people have. And again, that goes to the public education system that doesn't teach us anything about our civil venues and how they operate. And that's one of the most important things for people to be able to govern its government. But we need to know how the government runs. And this is why I said, if we're going to stand up a militia forum to rise up in a civil unrest against the government in any way, the only way we could do that would be to know how to set that government up again once we throw off that despotic government.
And the only way I say is because it would truly, I think, be the only successful way is, again, you have to have the knowledge of how that government is supposed to run in order to recognize it as a despotic government and be able to rebuild it if you have to go through some kind of stage of anarchy or whatever. And this, again, this is not any kind of plan or intent or anything. These are just suppositions and theories as I project some kind of hopeful solution or resolution to the issues that we're dealing with, again, just in regards to communication.
And that's what it's getting to. Like I said in the meeting again, we are slowly becoming Hitler's willing executioners. So in the meantime, like I said, my meeting with the city council went fine, but my little recording device that I used isn't quite up to par. It doesn't have any volume to it to be able to hear anything. It's got some volume, but it's so low that it's almost worthless. So I'm using my phone now, but on StreamYard on my phone, despite the fact that I've got a subscription on the laptop, it's not allowing me access to the subscription through the phone. So if anybody's familiar with how to do that through the phone, please let me know, because otherwise it's saying that this will not be recorded. So I'm hoping it's showing up live on my Facebook or my YouTube sites, but it's only allowed.
Yeah, and that's why I didn't know if it was recorded or not. I didn't know if it was going to show up live. And then I realized now that, yeah, it did show up live because there were comments in the chat.
Allowing me to do it on El Perro rather than multiple.
I just need another
streaming
hit.
to multiple sites or multiple channels like my subscription is supposed to allow. So anybody's got any information on that, please let me know. And hopefully you'll hit this before it's over, because like I said, it's telling me it's not going to record it. So we'll see how it happens. Let me pull it up on YouTube here, see what's going on there, because it should show that I'm live.
Yeah, this is where I checked and it said, yeah.
Yeah, it's showing that I'm live there. Yes. And greetings, Jay. Is it? And Healing Journeys. Thank you. I appreciate that. So it's just a matter of finding out how I can access that subscription on my phone. So if anybody knows that, has experience in doing that, please let me know. In the meantime, like I said, it's a learning experience for me going forth.
And that's so that when I do go live through StreamYard, I can stream to 3 different channels. I can change them up and everything according to different topics, all of that. That's my only intent here. As I'm journaling, like I said, I've got multiple different channels for multiple different topics, and they're going to be specialized. So when I go live, if I'm going to be covering a multitude of topics within one session, I can go live on 3 different channels, and the topical discussion may cover different sections or different topics according to the channels. It's just a matter of, again, that Authors Guild being prepared in journaling to be able to create some content and then clip it up for different channels according to that specific content clip.
So it'll change in the venue that I've been doing for the last 8 years, which has been strictly to research and then put that information out. And now I'm going to be going forth out into the community. Like I said, I've got a meeting set up with the mayor on Thursday at 2 o'clock. So I'll go in and I'll speak to him briefly, let him know my intent.
It's kind of like, you know, when I was in 7th grade, I went through a speech class. And in the speech class, we had a little program that we did where we made 4-minute 35mm films. And the class split up into three groups, and I was an oddball out, so I participated in the making of all 3 little movies. And in the splicing and duplicating those splices and stuff and changing, and that's just the ancient form of altering videos. Today, we can go through digitally and do the same thing. It's the same kind of process, just a different method or a different platform to do so.
The 35mm is pretty good quality, Keith.
Yeah, especially for, you know, 1980. But yeah, it's, you know, a matter of being prepared and having some kind of proof of concept, outline, or construction before you go doing things. And a lot of times when you see the synonymous performance or functions in various different topical areas, you can correlate them and observe them for what they are and still journal on them on separate platforms. It's a unique way of using the video on the internet today. Again, an Authors Guild.
In doing all of this and what I've done in the past, and show them a little evidence of what I'm talking about. And hopefully we'll have access to that equity that I've been talking about. If you want equity, you must first bring equity. And so I've got to announce myself as the benefactor. And we know in equity, the beneficiary is deemed to be the true owner. And if the benefactor is...
And this is where I correlate. If you want a good learned election system of officials, then you got to have a good learned set of people. How can you have a good learned set of people if you've got a bunch of dummies voting in a bunch of dummies? It leaves out those that can actually do things as if though they can't, discluding those that can self-govern, because the group as a whole wants their comfort and convenience. That's pretty odd to me, looking for a popularity contest rather than somebody that actually has knowledge and experience and competence to do the things.
Is the one giving to the beneficiary, then I certainly have a principal interest in.
And again, this is the problem with having these young men and women in the police force. They don't have the experience to be taking on such dangerous capacities if they don't have a greater experience in life. They go into it with the fear that, hey guys, just make sure you go home at the end of the day. There's a lot of scary things out there.
And And that's what we're talking about. So hopefully as I go forward with this stuff, I'll be able to do it on my phone, mobile, and show you how some of these audits should be done according to my interpretation. Again, like I said, as an intermediary between the auditors and the people that they're journaling about. Because that's truly what it is. These people get asked, what are you doing? Words out of my mouth would be to create a private record. I'm creating.
And that again is done through the knowledge and the learning to spread that knowledge and learning to others, not just the auditors, not just the officials, but both sides, to help everybody come together to a more reasonable stance in logic and morals rather than law and ethics.
In a private record. And that's something that they can't violate. Again, that's your right to record in public. You're creating a private record. In that private record, if you come across evidence of crimes, you have a duty. You have a duty to offset that. You have a duty.
This is both love thy neighbor as thyself, for to love one another is to fulfill the law, and the matter that if your brother be waxen and poor and have sold off his belongings, and next kin came back to redeem it, he shall redeem his brother's belongings.
To make what's right, that which is wrong. And it's no greater and no less than any other law enforcement. And this is why we have those laws that say you can defend yourself against an unlawful arrest, even to the death. Because that's our ultimate responsibility. Our ultimate duty is to keep the government in line, not to let them purport that we're the ones that need to be kept in line and do it by a hard hand of military enforcement. So that's why it's important to understand my journey, despite the 94 cases and despite me telling you that I was fingering them, cussing and swearing at them, calling them communist bastards, that's not actually the way to act. And that's what I've been learning in the last 8 years, that my fault in it was my own behaviors, not just in my adult life, but in the public education system, again, wherein I was indoctrinated. And then once I got to be of an age of majority and knew that there was distinctly something wrong, rather than doing something about it, I lived with the same convenience and comfort that everybody else did, not wanting to put myself in hardship. And that's the point of it.
Liking all that money that I was making and having a heyday, being rather hedonistic in my life, enjoying everything there was and not having a care in the world. I had given up on our Father which art in heaven because he took my son from me, and I didn't understand that. I was in a very spiritually bad place. I've come a long way from there. Thank God bless us all.
We're living in all this cognitive dissonance of comfort and convenience in wants and desires. And that's one of the things that Scripture speaks against. When your cup is overflowing, you're supposed to let it flow over into others. We have a hard time doing that if we're not allowed to let our cup fill. And that's the part of the government holding us back. This is the same thing with the public education system that says, leave no child behind. That's a false premise, because while they're not leaving any child behind, they're not letting anybody advance. And that's the problem.
This is the same military presence on a field of war. And they see victims from bombings and shootings and stuff, and they see a little child. Their morals and ethics automatically in nature inhibit them from going any further. They got to grab that child up and do everything to try to save that child. Leave no child behind. The problem with that premise in the education system is that, again, it's holding other children back that should be progressing. It's a spiritual net. Fishers of men.
We have a general education system that allows for the public at large to have an average reading comprehension of 7th or 8th grade. That cannot be a solid, strengthy, or strong government, nor can it be healthy. It's to our own detriment. And that's because we don't hold our morals above our comforts. So again, just a live test. Let's see how this is going to work in regards to YouTube and being able to save any content from lives on my phone because my other device doesn't bring enough volume. So in the meantime, I want to show everybody appreciation for your support again. I need it just like you need it. It's a matter of where you're getting that support. If you're getting it from the government, you're probably not getting support. And if you're in the right position, you're the one that supports the government. And remember that term, support. It actually stands for supplemental supporting, something.
And I want to take a moment to remind everybody, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Always appreciate that kind of support. There's a PayPal link down there for anybody that wants to support by showing some love. Always appreciate it, every little bit. And thanks for the folks in chat and, of course, folks that come up on panel. I always appreciate that support just as well. That actually has a more imperative use. I need your interactions. Thank you again.
Superior, something greater. And this is all I'm talking about. The facts in the record may be true, but if they're not, then there's an error that needs to be corrected. And in that correction is when you bring those supplemental truths, the things that are truths that help bring that record up to integrity. Because again, if the record is an error, then it doesn't have integrity. It goes to the weakest chain or weakest link in the chain. It means the whole chain is weak. And we're the weak ones. We're the ones bowing down and subjecting ourselves to this for that convenience and comfort. And it's only through the hardships that make us strong. So think about this and remember that as I go forth and hopefully convince you to go forth. One of the biggest concepts of Big Brother keeping an eye on us can be used against them by keeping an eye on them. This is our inherent ultimate responsibility so that our brothers that
And when I say used against them by keeping an eye on them, is more, again, holding them to the accountability of their obligation to us as obligees. And again, in order to truly benefit, we have to have the knowledge because that's the true benefit.
that aren't capable of governing themselves
Again, in my opinion.
aren't being taken advantage of. And again, that goes to the premise. You give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. You feed him or teach him how to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. But the true principle, again, is the foundation of knowledge, that once he has that knowledge, the parable of the talent steps in. You're not supposed to bury it. You're not supposed to hide it. You're supposed to bring it forth and teach that talent to somebody else. That's the inherent premise of my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So again, that's all I'm going forth is bringing the supplemental knowledge, the supplemental truths, the greater truths that prove or have or show evidence that what we are doing is wrong. And that's why I say we're slowly becoming Hitler's willing executioners. We all have a duty. Don't get lax in it. There really isn't any comfort and convenience in life unless it's your imagination. So think about this. Remember, folks, I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back.
That's what brings about the comfort and convenience, guys, is the very fact that we go through hardships, the very fact that we have a woman that labors at home and needs a nice soft chair. We go through those kind of things for provisions, future visions. It's a vision of what the future is. And in order to save the woman from having certain things happen to her health or something because she's always doing, you give her comforts and conveniences, you protect them. This is the thing about the popularity contest and beauty and handsome looks and all of this. That image and likeness is not the proper image and likeness. In our natural being without makeup and all these synthetic oils and medications and stuff, we really don't need that stuff, and that's the wrong kind of stuff that we actually do need. Again, that's not really a comfort and convenience. That is part of the downfall, is taking upon those comforts and conveniences, giving up the responsibility of the knowledge of a greater truth that keeps us a greater person, a greater people, a greater being, a greater spiritual living soul. Giving up those responsibilities is a laziness, a weakness for gluttony and greed. Those are gateways, in my opinion, again.
Just say, I don't care if you don't love me. I don't care if you don't hate me. I don't care if you hate me. I don't care if you don't respect
me. Okay, and with that, we are done. What do you guys got to say? The Insnaity Loop, we're back into it. What do you think about the distrust and fear-mongering going on? Is there anything we can do about it?
I think we could be more open to better knowledge, Keith. But in this day and age, I mean, people are on Facebook all day, watch football all day. I mean, if they're not open to knowledge, how can we expect them to have it? You know, that's something. Yep. I think it starts with us. It's our mind that has to open, and our heart.
Yeah, and we have to understand. I want to point out real quick: there are people that we can call good cops. There are good police out there. We have evidence of that, and that's my vision of a good cop, a good police officer is the one we saw, trying to educate the city employees about the Constitution and its supremacy. Go ahead, Russ.
And I think to touch on what John said, because I believe that's absolutely right. So that's why I think it's so important for us to be so humble and stable with our communications, and that will maybe bring about change with these people, because there's not too many people too stable here. They're easy to fly off the handle and everything else, and that doesn't mix in this arena.
Not at all.
Realm. So I think that's the main importance for everybody is careful to maintain those good works and go in with respect and honor right off of the rip, and it is due.
Yep. And it takes firsthand experience and practice, guys. You need to start now.
See, that's what I kind of was looking for when I come out here on YouTube, but I've been out here for a long time now, and you just cannot get a support system out here.
Nope, it's very hard. Very hard. I agree. All right. Last words, guys.
Much love to everybody. Be the change you wish to see, and most importantly, popularity without a positive purpose is pointless and valueless in life.
Absolutely. Thanks again, Russ.
Absolutely. Much love.
You bet.
Yeah, I'm all set. Thanks.
All right. Thanks again, John. And you guys know me. I love you, but I don't give a rat's ass whether you love me back. And that's say I don't care if you hate me or don't respect me. That's on you. So may God bless you and have a good day. Bye now.